Well, good afternoon, Speed Gaming channel. My name is Tiru. I am so glad to join you guys today for this Game 1 race between sab0tender and WaltherIV. This is the Game 1 between these two guys, and it's also the first game of the round of 16 bracket that I'm aware of.
32. 32.
No, they've progressed. This is 16 now.
No, it was 64. Now it's 32.
All right. Well, regardless, we are in the next the one less power of two than we were last week. But it's it is like I said, we're during the week of GDQ here, so this is the first race of the day at least that I've seen, and I'm psyched about it. I'm joined with Coy. How are you, Coy?
I'm doing fantastic. So these guys, oh my god. Walther taking out Philion to get here, and then looking at the bracket, sab0tender beats some guy named Andy. Have you heard of him? I haven't heard of him.
I did. We have the sab0tender, the breaker of bracket predictions. And Walther's a generally nice guy. I don't have a nickname for him, but yeah, those were insane races. Sabo versus Andy and Walther versus Philion both dominated their respective brackets 2-0. So this will be the first loss for either of them today. Someone's got to go.
Yeah, my prediction bracket, like the entire bottom round is just completely X'd out. I can't get any points there anymore. So thanks sab0tender.
Yeah, and I'm going to blame challenge and brackets in general because there were 32 matches. So that's what made me say round of 32 and round of 16. Okay. There's 32 matches. I don't care how many people are playing. It's 32 matches.
So Walther told me in advance that his file name, It's the Cops, is a line from Grunkle Stan, which is apparently a show that the sprite he's playing as is from. I think it's a Swedish thing. I'm not sure. I've never heard of it or seen it, but he loves it. Yeah, I have no idea who sab0tender is.
It's a pretty funny cartoon. I have it on my Plex server, but I only watched a couple episodes. But yeah, he's Uncle Stan. I don't like said Sebo. I'm not sure either. Gravity Falls. It was a Disney show that was only on for a couple seasons, like 2 or 3 seasons.
All right. Interesting to see both runners doing the Uncle Start. I get a lot of flack for doing the Uncle Start, so it makes me feel good to see people in the round of 32 still doing the Uncle Start. Not going to pay off too much today, just some rupees, but maybe that'll be enough to get us some bombs in Kakariko. Walther actually killing an extra guard there to find out what prize pack they're in. There is 8 bombs in this prize pack if you wanted to kill enough guards for it.
That's definitely good knowledge. Having up that spreadsheet or just memorizing it of where all the randomized prize packs are, because bombs are not in all of them. It's only in a couple different ones, and they do get randomized seed to seed.
Nice bottle there in Sanctuary with a good bee in it. Even we could sell this bee for 100 rupees if we chose.
I like that. We sell the bee for 100 rupees, and then we buy the bottle vendor item for 100 rupees. That's pretty efficient, actually.
Well, depending on what we find here, we might buy bombs first, but yeah.
Well, how much is a piece of heart worth? That's got to be worth at least 50 rupees, I think.
Well, there's our money right there. No need to sell that bee. Although they might do it anyway, just for the extra boost.
So I do like... Sorry.
I was going to say, sometimes you save the bee for Mini Moldorm Cave, just because like you may not have tons of bombs when you get there.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I was saying that I actually like the Uncle Start because you get the 3 items, including Link's House. If you find a weapon, you can go directly into Escape if you want to. And if you don't, then you can start a Sanctuary and still get that item. So it doesn't surprise me that it's a common start. But Sabo, checking the tavern here. This is probably the last check for bombs before committing the item and just finding the blue mail.
Yeah, Walter's saving and quitting, even though he found tons of rupees to buy bombs. a little unusual because usually, like, money's basically bombs, but this does save him from walking all the way down through Kakariko and then back up again to Blind's Hut and Waterfall, or not Waterfall, but Well.
Yeah, and Walther did find one bomb on the bushes there.
He's gonna have to use
by the grove. Yeah, well, you want to, if you want to find at least one, so you can do this race game without having to backtrack. And this is definitely an item that we're going to want to pick up. Even if the players can do dark rooms, they're going to need that as a fire source, if nothing else. So definitely this early on, very useful.
Yeah, he's going to spend those rupees anyway now. But 50 more in the chicken house. Basically 10 bombs.
Yeah, we're pretty much getting some decent amount of money, I think. Oh, Moon Pearl the bottle vendor. We didn't even have to sell the bee.
I'm a little disappointed if nobody sells the bee. It's not like a big deal. Like, we have tons of rupees, and you could even Houlihan at this point to still have 500 left over. But it's so cool to sell the bee. Okay, now you definitely don't sell the bee. Sab0 with another 300. And 50. And 70. All the rupees.
I kind of feel sorry for the bee at this point. I mean, there was so much hope that it would be set free, just sting as it pleases.
I'm sure it'll get used in Mini Moldorm Cave. Unless we just happen to find something really nice. Like a weapon.
Well, the bombos will be nice for Walther, having picked up that full magic pot. But sab0 doesn't have anything that he can use other than bombs at the moment.
Walther will still have to wait for a sword before he can use bombos. But that Kata Samaria, though. More rupees, my god. sab0tender not going down to check race game in the library. He will not have his lamp for a little bit.
Yeah, I always forget that the sword requirement, just because it's, I don't know, it's so rarely that it actually matters. But that is a good point. You do need a sword to use the medallions. So kind of Samaria there as a starting weapon. Not, I mean, it's not terrible. It's if he can get some magic, it'll be definitely useful for Mini Moldorm and even the escape sequence if we want to go back there. But there's no really.
Did he not pick up the magic pots when he went to the uncle?
I obviously not. He has no magic.
That's one of the little perks of doing the uncle start is that you get those 2 little magic pots in case you find like powder and hammer or something, or cane and no weapon.
Yeah, Kane uses so little magic. I mean, it's a great option for weak enemies like those Mini Moldorms. But I guess he didn't get them. Walther got the full magic pot off one of the enemy kills. That's what topped him off.
It's interesting sab0 didn't go down to race game. I have to think that he was influenced by the routing he took, where he had to walk all the way down to the bomb shop and then back up again. He didn't want to walk down once more just to get the race game.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. He didn't check library, or did he check library?
No, he never went south of the tavern.
Right. Okay, so maybe he's gonna 2 consecutive progressive swords. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so that puts Aga in logic for our runners, but sab0's not going to know about it until he makes his way over to race game, which, why would he any time now? He's got a few other places to go before he starts doing that.
And more importantly, they can use that Bombos medallion now.
That's right.
That's right. They have an AoE weapon. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe he didn't want to do the race game in the library in case they found early boots and they could come back there. That's the only thing I could think of. But Uncle Stan making a good use of the Canis Maria there.
It's not like it's not a bad play that he put off the race game for a little bit or anything. Like, it is a bit inefficient to have to walk down there for the route he took, but it might burn him a little bit here if it is Aga required.
Gloves in the Ice Rod Cave is reducing the probability a little bit of an Aga required seed. We have the gloves and we have the Moon Pearl. So another lift upgrade or the hammer, and then Aga's going to be dead for now, pending a lumberjack check.
Sabo going down here for a fake flipper. Gonna put these rupees to use, I imagine.
I like Chad. If Sabo doesn't fake flipper in the Ice Palace, he's a coward. And without another mid upgrade, he can't get into Ice Palace. But man, that would be a gutsy play.
I never think about that being a possibility, but yeah, you can totally do that with early mids, can't you? And just dungeon revival and full clear Ice Palace before Darkhold access.
Well, I mean, we need we had the Bombos medallion for the freezers. We can't do everything without the hammer, but you never know. I've seen crazier plays.
Oh, I missed the ledge there.
It was red meringue. So there's some glitches that can get that, but not worth it.
If he had the red meringue, he could go get that red meringue.
Ooh, that's sneaky. It's a paradox meringue.
Fake flipper not paying off today. Just 10 arrows on the big fish. Walther gonna go a little more thorough here and grab Hobo.
500 rupee loss is definitely not paying off. Gotta be a little careful when you do the hobo check. If you take any damage while you're fake flippering, that's an instant death. Seen it during tournament races.
All right, I have to disagree with this play from Sabo. I mean, I know most players aren't as adverse to going towards Eastern as I am, but we can do the back of escape first, right?
Well, he might be thinking no fire source, so can't light the lanterns, and that would eliminate, the middle of escape. But you're right, we can do the front and can easily do the back with the gloves. That's 3 quick items in the back. But I don't know. I mean, depends on if he's dipping in the Eastern. So there's 3 items in Agina's cave, Sashirala's hut there, and 2 to 3 items in Eastern. About even place.
I wonder if we'll get a map check before he actually goes into the dungeon. We have Sabo's audio, so we will be able to find out if this is a pendant or crystal from the music. But as far as I know, neither player has done a map check at all.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the tracker because at this point in the game, the tracker's sitting there, ready to screenshot the map, ready to clip it. There's so much adrenaline, and our runners they don't care. They're leaving the trackers on edge.
And the music does confirm that this is Crystal Eastern Palace.
Early big key. Maybe we'll find the bow and we'll be able to complete this out of logic. Poor Sabo not picking up that lamp.
It's not gonna, hurt him too much in the Eastern Palace or anything. It's mostly just the information about Aga being in logic. But who knows? Maybe that saves him, right? Walther with access to Aga goes to Aga right away, and Sabo, thinking it's not in logic yet, keeps looking and he finds the hammer or something.
Yeah, that's always the thing about. I mean, this isn't really that much of a sequence break, but not doing the standard checks this early on can definitely throw you off for a little bit. Walther, maybe we'll see the Gina's cave after the dam.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. That's the typical way to route this if you're not doing it with Mini Moldorm Cave.
I actually like this route. It kind of threw me off at first. Normally, you do the dam and then you do Mini Moldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave, but the just doing Mini Moldorm and Ice Rod Cave and then doing dam and Agina, it's kind of, I like it. It's a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, this is the I'm not going to get screwed today route.
Exactly. Especially when you have the lamp and the master sword in hand, and there's just these one-off locations that could potentially hold your progression. Not worth skipping.
All right, Sabo leaves Eastern after the big chest. I assume he got 3 items.
I wasn't counting the items, but he didn't find the bow. So,
I'm sure it's just in back of escape. No biggie.
oh, that would be so
That would hurt so bad, right?
It would. It always happens though.
There's a small
another
sword.
No bow though.
All right, he's going up to Dark Room. This is potentially just the map.
This is a pain in the ass though.
With the sword, it's not so bad. Especially the sword beams. You just kind of shoot them around. Eventually, a rat dies. You hear the key drop.
That's true. It was sword beams definitely make this easier.
Well, this key rat's kind of hard to find though. Where'd he go?
Yeah, I've seen this room done without bombs, like with just bombs, and it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, just throw the bomb to the left and hope it kills something.
Throw and pray strategies.
It works about 40% of the time. I wouldn't do that in a race though.
They had the bombos. Walther's not going into the Dark Cross.
He's going over to Eastern though.
I think Sabo is almost at the chest.
Yeah, he's lining up here on the torch. And it was the map. Oh. Feels bad, man. I would have made that same play. I'm with you.
I like that moment where you're like, nothing showed up. Let me check on my inventory, see if anything's
Maybe it
there.
was the mushroom. It could be the mushroom.
Somebody was saying that it's certain colors that don't show up in the dark and other colors do. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's a color palette issue.
Yeah.
It's been on the developers' docket of things to fix for a very long time now.
So both players making these same one-off checks, Aegina's Cave and then Walther going into Eastern.
Yeah, we're getting a little desperate here.
We haven't seen the front of escape yet, but that makes sense because if you're committing to an AGA play, you're gonna last location the front of escape and then do AGA if that doesn't have your hammer.
I go the other direction with that. Like as soon as I think it's AGA, I go to front of escape early because I know that if I don't, I'm gonna put it off the entire time. And every 90% of the time I think it's an AGA seed, I just find the hammer in the front of escape. And I feel like a dope.
That's a good strategy. So you're basically thinking that,
Yeah, I gambled the 20 seconds or whatever it is to walk back up to the castle. If it does end up being AGA later, but it does protect me from full clearing the light world, only to find hammer in the front.
Well, this is extra bad for Sabo because he hasn't picked up the lamp yet, so he's going to have to come in here. If we assuming it's AGA and we find garbage, he's going to have to then go to the race game to get the lamp.
Honestly feels like doing Dark AGA, but I cannot imagine him doing that.
Oh god, no! You skip the race game. You figured I got to go back and check the race game.
Yeah, I mean, from his perspective, the race game might just be the hammer or the mitts or something. I'm sure he will not be happy if there's nothing here and then he finds the lamp.
Just squeeze hard there. I think it was Phileon's race with Walther where Phileon was doing a death warp in the basement there and got the piece of heart in Zelda's chest. full health refill.
I think I have like 12 different clips of that happening to me. It's so annoying. Alright, Walther also leaving after the big chest. Yeah, I have to assume they both found 3 items, although I, again, did not count. Okay, so, I like this play. Walther's gonna walk up to old man here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that this is something that it hadn't occurred to me that this was also in logic. Now we have the lamp and we have the glove, so we can rescue the old man, get the save and continue point, and potentially, or we can get the item that's in Spectacle Rock Cave. So there's 2 items up here.
He'll route in a lumberjack check with this, find out if Aga is hard required for this. Sab0tender finds nothing in the front of escape. He's got to go somewhere else.
And 10 arrows at the lumberjack, so that's a hard Aga requirement. Gotta get those 10 arrows.
Well, he only has 16.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
All right, Sab0tender knows he's headed over to race game. He knows something has to be there. He's been everywhere else. He just hopes it's anything but that lamp. It's gonna be the lamp, you guys.
Poor Sabo. Oh wow! Look how well you can see these dark rooms with that
Does
lamp.
he check it? No, he's gonna do it blind. He knows it's progression.
That would be a lot of doubt if he checked the item before just yodeling it. Quake!
No, I'm just projecting. Like, at this point, I'm thinking, did I forget something? Nope, didn't forget anything. It was just an Agaseed.
I like how we get the Quake medallion when all the boulders are falling and the earth is shaking. It seems like it's appropriate.
Boulders are immune to Quake because they're in the air, I think. Otherwise, man.
All right, so 10 arrows on the ledge. This is our last location, I think, that we haven't seen in the light world. Walther's coming up on here.
Is he doing it blind?
Yeah, he's doing it blind.
Why would you do it blind? But, okay. So Sabo's not going to get punished for this. There is no progression on the mountain. Even though Sabo just got access to it, he's going straight to Agan.
Yep, definite Agaseed. Definite Agaseed.
Yeah, so when all's said and done, Sabo has like a 30-second lead on Walther here. Although Walther did Hobo and Spectral Rock Cave and the Old Man.
Yeah, that's the save and continue.
Maybe not really a lead.
Well, I mean, it's the same but continue point that Walther's going to have to get back up there. But he did check the lumberjack as well. So Sabo, probably was going to do that when we get boots. Might lose a little bit of time there. Let's say it's about the same.
Walther isn't in front of escape yet. My bad.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, yeah, there's a few minutes. So this is one of those rare races where having the lamp makes a difference.
Oh yeah, did sab0tender not check the library when he was over at race game either, did he?
No, he found the lamp. That was good enough.
Dark Crest is the map. Walther will find out by process of elimination here when he checks Zelda Cell.
Process of elimination is the best way to check a location.
Yeah, it's actually really convenient that it's the map for Walther. Otherwise, he'd have to death warp twice. I think he does have a fairy, though, so pay attention, guys. Make sure that Walther drops his fairy before he tries to death warp here.
Or hope that he doesn't drop his fairy before he tries the death warp here.
No, we want only good things. He remembered. There's 1 and 2. Oh, that's so sad that he's getting rid of 2 fairies. I mean, they have tempered swords. It's not like they're likely to need fairies, but it is pretty disappointing.
And if you ever find a fairy under a pot, this is where they came from. People just leaving them. I can just picture there's like this little pixie industry, like refilling all the pots and grass and boulders with fairies.
Why did Sabo walk all the way up to the... What? Never seen anyone do that before.
I've never seen this.
I think he must have been like looking off screen and just holding up on his controller. He tried to save Zelda, he just wasn't fast enough.
It's not his fault that Aga can freeze the time.
All right, Aga 1. Blue balls are horrible.
15.
We're at 2 already. We're on pace for 15. Oh, ruined.
14.
No, I don't know how it goes to 14. It cuts a lot more than that. I don't know the breakpoints. Up to 3. There's 4.
And one thing to point out is Aga is immune to rage, so Sabo is not helping.
So sometimes if I'm really tilted by the blue balls, I'll like slash Aga until I'm down to like half a heart or whatever, right? Just to be silly. More than once, that's actually killed me.
Wow, this is
like I'm just messing around, and then oh no, Aga can do damage. That's right. Sabo, fortunately, not making that mistake. He does take down Aga 1 and gets his Dark World access.
that was a brutal Aga. Chat, what's the count on those blue balls? How many?
I can't even count that high.
And piece of heart on the pyramid, so no instant progression.
Saving quitting, not wanting to walk into pod or up to catfish. I think he's gonna go. I have no idea where he's gonna go. That's what I thought, but then he went to Link's house. Oh, we're going to. Looks like we're gonna buy a potion for pod, and potentially fake flipper to Hobo.
So this actually makes a lot of sense. I was confused for a second there what he was doing, and I'm glad you realized it. But setting up for the potion glitch in pod in case Palace of Darkness is bow locked. This will let Sabo access the 2 items on the right-hand side and complete everything in the dungeon except for Helmasaur King, assuming that we don't find the hammer. So very heads up play, I think.
That's a little surprising to me that he didn't just buy a potion like on the way to catfish, but you know, catfish is really slow.
Is there a Dark World potion shop there? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's the same building where the regular potion shop is. It's just a regular shop with a red potion and bombs. sab0tender is going to go straight into pod, though. This potion is specifically for the potion camera unlock glitch, PCU, commonly referred to as the potion glitch in Palace of Darkness. It'll let him sequence break the bow and get to the right side.
So I don't take any offense to that. I call it the potion glitch, and then you use the fancy terms.
Well, some major glitchers, people who play major glitches, those weirdos, they get a little tilted if you call it the potion glitch because there's like 1,000 potion glitches. So its official name is PCU.
Oh, that's fair. I used to call it the Yakuza Bottle Adventure, which is like I think it was
YBA.
called at one point. Yeah, YBA.
That's a whole other thing. Gladen pot, yes, Gladen pot. Looks like Walther will be going up to catfish here.
And Walther definitely has those 2 empty bottles from ditching the fairies earlier. So maybe we'll see the Dark World potion station. But yeah, the Dark World markup on those potion prices is insane. 150 rupees?
It's a little weird, right? Because all the rupee prize pack enemies are in the light world. In the vanilla game.
Whenever you're doing this strat, you always have to make sure Still have enough money for Kiki, the 110 rupees, preferably 120 just in case. I have myself, and I've seen actual good runners make the mistake of buying a potion and running out of money.
Just 20 rupees on Catfish. Walter will have to go into Palace of Darkness to find more stuff. All the keys in the front. Sab0tender will go to the right side anyway for the items there.
Yeah, I think we have basically guaranteed progression at this point in pod.
I believe you're right, yeah. Last location. It's not surprising though. Like sometimes you see people like do AGA a little earlier than last location, just because they have more stuff to get other places once they get Dark World access. But in this situation, with just gloves, no hookshot, no bow, no hammer, it's not that ideal.
Yeah, and we just saw Sabo do the Palace of Darkness right side lower hallway potion glitch. I already forgot the
Nice
name.
name. I like it. No, that's good. We'll go with that. Big key and a heart container.
But the way that glitch works is, like I said, it locks the camera, and by holding the wall, you can direct the mimics to move off screen, which counts as killing them for some reason.
The door doesn't know any better.
Yeah, it's a silly door. It's got one of those like motion sensors on it, and there's nobody in sight, so it just opens.
Sab0tender does still have his two fairies, so he didn't want to drop them both just to death warp here. So you see him walking all the way back through. Walther will probably be death warping on the spike.
Yeah, definitely. Walther already has, half the health gone as well, so it's going to be a little bit easier.
Death warping's a bit faster, but I think it was close enough that Sabo wasn't willing to drop his two fairies for it.
That's quite a bit of safety. They do have the blue mail, but they're also at 7 hearts. So those fairies are basically red potions at this point. I wouldn't drop them.
Oh, goody, the hookshot.
And that gives us left Dark World access, or West Dark World access to
as well
podcasts.
as East Death Mountain. A lot of
Absolutely.
East Death Mountain style available. Although honestly, in this situation, like 90% of the time, it's because there's progression in Hype Cave, which is the most irritating place because it's the farthest thing away from you. We might see our runners go to Death Mountain first, though, just because it's a little more efficient if you do find Hammer up there.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the opposite. I was saying that you'd probably want to Village of Outcasts first, and the chance that you can get the mitts and then do Dark Death Mountain at the same time. So either option's decent, and maybe we'll actually get to see a little bit of diversions. Big map and the big chest.
Looks like he's opting for crossing that river. Sebo still hasn't been to the mountain at all.
So is this faster than death warping and walking out of pod? Or probably about the same.
Well, he has two fairies.
Oh yeah, the two fairies.
I have no idea if this is faster. I think this would be faster than like backtracking through the hedge maze.
Yeah, no, I forgot about the two fairies, but that absolutely makes a big difference. And Walther, down to just 1 heart, has set up for that death warp.
Looks like Sab0tender will be going up to Catfish before he crosses the river, though.
Okay, Walther got a full heart. So, I mean, Catfish didn't have anything in this particular seed, but Walther, I think, has just generally had slightly better routing, at least based on just the knowledge we have. Buying the potion on the way to Catfish, and then doing the Southern Kakariko check initially to get the race game. Definitely has saved a minute or two.
Yeah, he's played a bit more thoroughly than sab0tender. Like, he has more checks, that's why he's behind right now. But like that, gets refunded the second sab0tender goes to do all those checks that Walther did, right?
Well, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Sabo did the save and quit and started here in the Dark World. I was thinking that, because he did the save and quit and already lost Dark World access, that would have made a great opportunity to rescue the old man, get that third save and continue point, and then check the East Death Mountain, because Sabo hasn't been up to the mountain at all yet.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely favor going to the mountain in this situation, even though, like I said before, like it's more likely to be West Dark World. But it's just because of the different punishes. So like the punish for doing the mountain first is like Mirror and Hera or something, right? And you have to go all the way back around again. And the punish for doing West Dark World first is like Fire Rod and Thieves Town Big Chest. It's so horrible. Like, you're never going to do it. The punishes are just so much greater for going to the Dark World first.
Yeah, that's fair. And we've seen a couple other locations where Sabo has had to. We saw Bumper Cave, which we Bumper Ledge, which we didn't have the Cape for. That's something that we might have found up on Death Mountain if that was needed. But I'd say probably the worst thing that he skipped was Graveyard Ledge. So, if you find the mirror on East Death Mountain, you're going to be able to route that location. And that's a long walk, through from the hook shot across the river all the way into Kakariko without being able to check any of those locations.
Yeah, sometimes routing's just really restrictive, and you're forced into the situation where you have to say, you know what? If it's here, I'm just going to lose. Like you can't route in everything every time, unfortunately.
Absolutely. That's especially when you're doing these 1v1 matches. You have to skip locations. It doesn't matter how efficiently you can route it. If you check everything that's in your path, you're probably going to lose. You just have to gamble at something at some point.
Walter's showing us Paradox Cave here. If there's progression up here, it's probably in this cave or right here. That's not it. That's not it.
That's not it either.
Come on, Walther.
Most definitely not it.
Walther, please. He still has Spiral Cave. It's possible.
He checked the 7 locations here, but he still has that one other location. I like your optimism, Coy.
Looks like we found just one item in the front of Skullwoods here. That piece of heart.
It's a big heart on the floating island, which we can't get, but it's technically one of the items up here that we need to know about. This is our last item up here, because without the hammer or the mirror, we can't get the Tower of Hera. And without the mitts, we can't do Dark Death Mountain. So it's here, and then we're done. And Walther's going to have to follow in Sabo's footsteps to take the very long way to Village of Outcasts.
Just a shield.
That was not it.
Yeah, you don't feel that bad about it, though? Like, doing all this and not finding anything?
Mitts in the C-shaped house.
Mitts are nice. They're not a hammer, though.
They're not a hammer, but that does give Sabo 6 additional items from Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. When he does his... Oh.
I think the other pendant was Swamp. It was pretty fast. I wasn't paying that much attention. But it was definitely Green Pendant Thieves Town. Oh, he checks it again. Hey, thanks, Sabo. He heard me.
Mitts aren't a hammer, but they give you those 6 extra items in Dark Death Mountain, and they also give you the the Kakariko portal, so we can get back here pretty quickly if we do save and quit. If we want to check the 4 locations in the front of Thieves Town, then do the southern Dark World route, and then save and quit and go to the mountain. We can find the hammer. We can go back and do Thieves Town. We can go back and do hammer pegs, whatever we want to. So it opens up a lot of options.
I think sab0tender is going to full clear this.
No.
He's gone this long without ditching his fairies, and now he's in a very, very slow walk out of this dungeon or ditching them to get out.
He's going to walk out. Come on, Saba, walk out. Walk out. Walk out.
I was really hoping for the fall heal.
Go left. Go left. Yes.
Really, we're walking out. Okay.
I win the nothing.
I guess he found enough items in the front. He doesn't feel like it's worth it to go to the back.
He is really holding on to those fairies, though. This is like, what, the 3rd or 4th Death Warp opportunity that he had?
I bet he uses like 1 in Spike Cave and the other one just sits there for eternity.
Powder, okay. My favorite item, because who doesn't like infinite health in the Dark World dungeons? But not an item we can check without the hammer or the mirror. Sabu being very careful not to forget the Dark World version of the race game, the digging game.
Anyway, so Walther going to East Death Mountain and finding nothing, it sucks, right? Like, man, I didn't pick the right location to find progression. But you don't feel bad about it because Paradox Cave is such a dense location. You can be almost assured that your opponent is also going to do those locations. And you find the myths right after, like, oh, I could have done them at the same time, but it's not that big a deal. It's like 1 screen transition that you save doing them together like that. The main punish is if he finds the hammer and then like the mirror is in Hera, because then he'd have to go all the way up around again the other side.
Yeah, finding the mirror late is already orphaning some locations like Graveyard Ledge. Both of them walked past it without the mirror. Sabo's walking past Cave 45 without the mirror.
Or the Smith.
Well, the Smith we can do. It's just it's a lot slower. But I totally agree with what you said, Coy. The Death Mountain check. We got 8 items, and we saw 9th. Definitely not wasted time, and it's not that bad to get back up there. We're going to be going up the mountain.
Bug net. He could have caught a 3rd fairy.
Oh,
that's disappointing.
Oh, maybe he'll check like the waterfall priors. It'll be a fairy.
And here is our progression in Hype Cave, the Ice Rod. Okay.
Up in the chest, Saba.
That's not what we want. Oh my god, there was nothing. Alright, so we are down to Dark Death Mountain and the Smith sequence without the mirror and the back of Thieves without the hammer. I wonder which one Sabo's gonna do.
I mean, those are the good locations. I mean, you have Thieves Town Green Pendant. We have
he's gonna go to Death Mountain. Those aren't real choices.
Thieves Town Green Pendant is the only other item I can think of.
Yeah, Mirrorless Smith sequence, Thieves Town, and the mountain here. The mountain's just like so much better than the other 2. Like I can't imagine anybody ever doing anything else right now.
Oh, there's the 9 Light World locations. There's 6 more in Hookshot and Super Money Cave. So 15 items versus like what, 1 on the Green Pendant? Yeah, that's an easy call. And don't forget, this is his first time up here, so there's 2 more on the west side of the mountain, and you get a save and continue point. and Quake. So now we have all the medallions. We can get into Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. If we can get to Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, we can get in.
So Sabo would like to follow this hookshot over to East of Mountain, but the possibility of Hammer being up here is too strong. So he's going to come up here, make sure it's not the Hammer, and then he'll head over there.
And it's not the Hammer, but we already knew that. So Walther, I mean, we saw Sabo walk out. Walther is not walking out and is going to give us the full Thieves Town clear. So this is going to be everything except the Thieves Town big chest, which may or may not contain an item that we can't get. But we could always find the hammer upstairs and then go get that. So we don't know.
Yeah, Walther very clearly influenced by his decision to go to Death Mountain first. So he has less world left when he got to Thieves Town. So going to the back of Thieves Town looks better.
Yeah, definitely. Sabo just had, I mean, so many options. The 15 on the east, you know, the 2 more on the west. Walther still has the southern route and Hype Cave to check, but ruling out, you know, all of the east Light World, Death Mountain definitely cuts down on the possibilities. Oh, the book in Thieves Town.
It's not exactly what we wanted to find, but it's something.
That's one of the book's favorite places to hide, I think.
So now we have Bootsless Pendant Desert to add to our repertoire.
Yeah, we can't get to either of the actual tablets at this point. But yeah, Desert does open up, but unless there is just like a trash item on the torch, we're not going to be able to complete it. If I were Walther, I would probably just finish the South Dark World and then go back up to the mountain. Boostless Desert just doesn't seem like a good play.
It's not like terrible, because like if you think of it from like a metagamey aspect, right? Like it's unlikely that your opponent went to the back of Thieves, so you kind of want to follow the stuff you get back there and push that advantage that you might have. But it is a big risk, and I think you're right. Like, not doing Hookshot Cave in favor of that is not the greatest thing you could do.
Yeah, it's not many items, and without the boots, it's a slow dungeon. Very, very long walking paths. But so we have.
Were we paying enough attention to see if there was something in the chest?
That's what I'm thinking.
I wasn't.
Well, we have the small key.
Were you paying attention, chat?
Chat will definitely know. All right, I got a mushroom. So that increases the probability that there was
So we got
garbage in the big chest.
2 unique items in the back of Thieves. Interesting. It was compass in the big chest. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, that worked out well for Walther then. Hammer and green pendant would be pretty neat.
Meanwhile, sab0tender finally on Dark Death Mountain, finishing his light world checks. Super Bunny Cave, not with a bunch of stuff, but we still have Hookshot.
Hammer or mirror would be nice, and we could at least stay up on the mountain.
I'd settle for literally anything at this point.
Yeah, I know. It's anything would be nice.
Anything that lets me go to a crystal dungeon, please.
Let's get flippers and go to Ice Palace.
That's just the heart. We don't want that. Bombs don't want that. Come on, man. Rupees don't want that.
Come on, flippers. Oh,
we did it. We got a bow. Sweet. Now we can go to Eastern Palace for 0 items. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, well, that gives us
nothing. It gives us nothing.
It gives us nothing.
We can now get the crystal from Eastern, but we were there already, and we got all 3 items, so it doesn't do anything for us. Sabo realizes that on his way. I think he was thinking Eastern, but then realized, oh wait, that doesn't make any sense.
And same thing with Pod. I mean, we got everything we can do out of Pod except for Helmasaur, which we can't do without the hammer. So, wow, that bow opened up nothing.
Alright, so it looks like Sabo's going to go back to the Dark World here, probably for Thieves Town.
So we saw all the 6 Dark World checks over on Sabo's side. So we're down. So Smith's Chain and Green Pendant. I mean, is that?
Yeah, we have Smith Chain, Green Pendant, Pendant Desert with the book in the back of Thieves.
Pendant Desert.
The mushroom turn in. We can turn in the mushroom now.
This is getting a little silly.
Eventually, we'll find progression somewhere. That much we can be sure of.
You say that with so much confidence, I believe you.
That's how I get through like most of my seeds. It's just telling myself over and over again, just keep checking locations. Eventually the seed will end.
Yeah, once you reach a certain skill level, these seeds really do have an upper time limit. I mean, 2 hours is going to give you basically a full clear of the game. Give or take a little bit, but this is Green Pendant turn in with the dwarf.
Yeah, just bring him along for fun. Walther's covering all his bases here. Green Pendant is nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Unfortunately, picking up the Smith does lock his choice now. He has to go turn it back in. Yeah, he's gonna do the mushroom first.
Fake flip. Can the Smith fake flipper? You can do it, Smith.
Yeah, he can fake flipper. He's a champ.
He's a champ.
You can use a damage boost to put yourself on the right pixel for this with like a bomb or an enemy shot, but if you can just line it up really quickly, it's faster. Walther's not lining it up that quickly.
I blame the Smith. The Smith doesn't.
The
Smith isn't frame perfect. He can't do the transitions right.
sab0tender down to 2 hearts in Thieves Town. God, I bet he wishes he had 2 fairies in his bottles. Oh wait, he does! Maybe we'll get to see one of them used. I sure hope so.
Sabo's down to 16 hearts.
This seed is ridiculous.
Come on,
ridiculous seed.
Come on, shovel.
Oh, 1 heart.
Oh,
back up to 2. It's the hammer on the mushroom. Oh my gosh.
Oh, great. That's good. So the mushroom was in the back of these, right?
We got a fairy.
A fairy.
Fairy value.
You can do a little fairy. Sprinkle that pixie dust.
Those enemies were being real mean to sab0tender. They could smell the fairies on him.
So where was the mushroom?
The mushroom's in the back of Thieves. It was on blind.
I was on blind. Okay, all right. I was looking at Sabo's tracker. I was like, I thought it was in the top of Thieves. He doesn't have the mushroom.
So hammer, definitely a super fantastic pickup for Walther here.
We've had this Smith for like 5 or 6 minutes now. I kind of feel like they've bonded. Like you don't really want to take him home at this point. You want to, go kill Ganon with him.
Do you know?
I've done it, yeah.
So Walther is infamous for that play exactly, bringing the Smith to Ganon. It was
Why not?
it was like 2 years ago or something. It was a tournament race, and Walther is neck and neck with his opponent. Like the commentary is just going wild with how close they are, and they both finish Agatu. The bird bursts open the pyramid. His opponent drops down to Ganon, and Walther mirrors, goes and gets the smith, and then brings it to Ganon.
It's always good to have a little extra cannon fodder to absorb the fire.
That's just who Walther is. Walther is a really, really fun guy.
So Sabo, this is cool. Sabo is making the desert play.
Yeah, this is quite unfortunate. Unless he finds something awesome here.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, you know, it's items in desert, or it's the green pendant turn in the mushroom. And these are all weird checks. But this could be completable without the boots. So this could still be. I mean, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we'll find the boots. Maybe we'll find something else.
Yeah, we're still missing quite a bit of stuff for Go mode.
Oh God, yes.
We still need the fire rod, the flute, logically the flippers, although we could sequence break dice. We're good on medallions, though, at least.
We're good on medallions. We probably don't. I mean, we might not need. We don't need mirror for anything. Just a map.
That's boots locked. Feels very bad. So speaking of mirror, Walther without the mirror is having to do these light roll checks first, where he does find the flippers, which are like nice, but not really what he wanted to find.
Yeah, we didn't find any progression in the sequence broken spots, so there's no logic that we're fixing by getting those flippers. But like you said, that does technically give us the logical access to Ice Palace. It's not exactly one of the difficult places to get to.
Yeah, we have options now.
Yeah,
like we can go finish up Pod and Eastern. We can go full clear ice. We're in Heron now, where we find the fire rod. Hello.
All right, now that is a nice find. That's more valuable than the first by far.
Yeah, now he'll be able to full clear TR, except for Mimic Cave, I guess. But who cares?
Sabo didn't really lose that much time on that desert play. It was locked out very quickly.
Walther,
and the hammer. Walther, got to do the basement, bud.
Hell Harrowpot here. Oh, he's not here. Oh, not playing risky today.
Well,
for sure he would Harrowpot.
No, the tower really wanted you to the basement. It even gave you a next door just in case.
Walther, no fairies in his bottles. He's setting up a death warp.
It's gonna be great if this game came down to all the time that Sabo wasn't able to death warp.
So Sabo did pick up his hammer, I believe. He'll be headed over to Eastern and then Pod.
All right, now do we remember if there's an item on Helmut King?
I believe he does have an item. I'm not 100% though.
All right, so at most though we're just getting one item, but we do get to completely finish this whole area. Just be done with it, and we have to get these crystals, so might as well do it.
Yeah, you could potentially save some time if you waited a bit and maybe found the mirror or the boots. But, crystals now is better than crystals later.
And a mirror and the boots are really the only things that would save you time. Well, I guess, you could flute down to 5. That'd be a little bit quicker as well. I guess if you wanted to argue the point, you could say it probably doesn't make sense to do these. But if Helmasaur is holding an item, and you're gonna have to kill him anyway, though, that could be key progression.
No, I think this is the right play here for sab0tender, especially since there's the boots. Gosh darn it.
I know, it always happens.
Wow, Hera with all the things. Flipper's outside, Fire Rod and Boots inside. And then Walther's gonna go do Dark Death Mountain where he finds the bow and he's feeling real good.
So the Fire Rod, I mean that's very important. Let us do Skull Woods and finish Turtle Rock. Boots, we don't know if it's actually needed for anything at the moment. We know Desert is boost lock, but Desert's also pendant. So Desert, as far as we care, who cares?
We're not going to see Desert again for a very long time. Walther is going to absolutely full clear all of these crystals before he heads there. The only thing he's missing is that bow, which he's about to find, and then the flute.
Chet's saying the flute was in the library. Was it?
Oh, right.
I never even saw that.
Yeah,
Sabo,
then we're in no mode.
Oh, okay. Because Sabo didn't check the library, and then I missed it when Walther.
Oh, that's gonna burn Sabo so hard.
Yeah, having to dip into...
like he's gonna full clear TR at the very least.
And there's also the chance that you get the Fire Rod in the front of Hera and then just bail. The Fire Rod is in and of itself a really nice.
No,
item.
It's a crystal. It's like he will full clear Hera. He'll find the food.
Freaking. Yeah, that's my bad. But even with my glasses on, the tracker icons are so small.
Walter's going into TR before doing Heckshot Cave. All right, so Walther doesn't know about the bow yet, so he doesn't know he's in go. He's going to be in go mode, so he'll full clear this as well.
This is a fine play. Go mode TR versus full clear TR is basically the same dungeon. Just you're already up here. You just might as well do it. And there's a lot of items in here too. I mean, the only risk that you have, and it's not going to affect us because we have the knowledge, but the only risk that most people have is orphaning the item in Mimic Cave, and we just don't carry this particular seed. It's not going to come back and hurt them.
I feel like Mimic Cave alone, he probably should have checked the overworld first. Because, like, if he full clears TR and then he goes to check Hookshot Cave and he found the mirror, like, he's not coming back in for Mimic Cave, right?
No, but it's like you were saying earlier, though. You know, it's a heads-up race. You just have to make certain calls and say, I'm going to lose these 20 seconds. I'm going to gain those 30 seconds. I just, you know, a lot of it is hope, and that's the way Randomizer is in heads-up games.
Yeah, it's not gonna punish him like that. Definitely, in this particular seed.
Yeah, Walther. I mean, just by finding the Fire Rod and the boots, you know, earlier, that's going to save time just because all this time he gets to move faster. Now, I did obviously misread that and say it was a pendant when it's a crystal. So Sabo is going to obviously get up there.
Yeah, and luckily the boots were not in the big chest. So if Sabo does do the Hera pot, which I think is likely, and I'm actually really surprised that Walther didn't do it, he won't be punished for it.
Yeah, so that could have been a lot worse. I mean, if that was a pendant Hera, then that would have been definitely problematic.
Oh, is it Vanilla Binky? Oh no, he's.
I'll tell you in a second.
I forgot he's full clearing because he doesn't have the bow yet.
So Sabo has the Eastern Crystals. Going to get the Pod Crystal very soon. Doesn't have logical Ice Palace access. Can't get into Skull. Can't do Turtle Rock. So he's probably going to go up to Dark Death Mountain, I would say, and then find all the goodies up there. Walther coming out of here will have the bow, so that's everything's open for Walther. We can get our flute. That would probably be the first thing we do. Check Meyer.
Yeah, Walther's definitely in the advantageous position here. Like,
Well,
I'd go so far as to say he has a lead, but it's not like an insurmountable lead.
It's definitely not insurmountable, but once he gets the bow, it's go mode for him. So he gets to skip the Ice Palace checks. Can actually skip the Meyer area checks because Tempered Sword is definitely good enough.
Yeah, just two things have to happen for sab0tender here. He has to go to Hera, like, now, and then he has to go check library right after.
Gosh, the race game and the library being right next to each other. Those are checks that you almost always make 100% of the time within the first like 5 or 6 minutes of the game. So for both of those locations to come back and hurt Sabo separately, that is really, really unfortunate.
Don't go to Ice. Don't go to Ice Palace. Where are you going? Please don't go to Ice Palace. Sabo, please.
Without the flute and the boots,
Did he skip Ice Rock Cave? Maybe.
no,
Maybe this isn't
not,
Ice Palace.
Those were the first gloves. Without the flute and the boots, this is a painful build up to an Ice Palace check.
Oh man.
Walther didn't find anything good in Turtle Rock, but unfortunately for Sabo, he's not really going to save any time go-moding it.
Walther channeling his inner TGH there. Did you watch that race?
No.
Oh, poor TGH. He just didn't know the backup.
The GDQ race?
Yeah, there was a relay race, and TGH had like this huge lead, and then he gets to Turtle Rock, and he misses the Samaria placement or something happened, and he spent like a minute in that room trying to figure out how to get out of it.
I'll definitely have to watch that.
Like when you're that good, when you're as good as those players, you're just not prepared to make mistakes anymore. It happens so infrequently, so rarely, you don't know what to do when it actually happens.
That's hilarious. Speaking of not making mistakes, Walther had a very nice Trinix fight. Overall, this dungeon didn't have any progression items, but it was a crystal and really wasn't that much time lost doing some extra checks.
It's not a huge deal.
And more importantly, he's going to find the bow. In like 30 seconds probably, and unless he forgot where the flute was, like you and I did, he'll be in go mode.
I never saw it.
I never saw it either.
I'm just trusting that chat is not wrong about it, because everyone's telling us about the flute.
Yeah, that is a good point. We're putting a lot of faith into chat. I feel like we should say like,
Walther, please.
Oh.
Right before he opens that chest.
That blue jelly is terrible.
Okay, all right. Walther with the bow. He knows.
He knows.
Right, surely. Okay, I'm gonna wait to call it until he's actually going to library. All right, that's a library dash right there.
All right, there we go.
106.58. He is in a go mode.
This whole race, because of sab0tender holding onto those fairies, every time I see one of the players pick up a fairy, I keep thinking like, oh, I wish we could catch that fairy. Gosh, flute in the library, lamp on the race game. I've never seen a race be impacted this much by skipping these two checks.
I mean, it really isn't. That's not the turning point. Like, that is going to hurt sab0tender. It will. But like, even without the flute knowledge, like, he's not going to Hera. He went to Ice Palace over Hera, right? So, like, not knowing about the flute, it doesn't change his position right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he went to Ice Palace over like Dark Death Mountain in general. Well, no, because well, that's the thing. He's done all the other checks up there, so
yeah. So I feel like the decider decision, like the thing that sab0tender did that kind of hurt him the most in this race wasn't that he didn't check the library. It's that he did all of Death Mountain together, which wasn't wrong. I'm not saying he was wrong to do that. It just that's what caused him to think that Ice Palace was a better play than Hera. Where Walther only did the Light Death Mountain, right? So he has like Hera and Dark Death Mountain, so it looks a lot better for him.
No, you're absolutely right. And I should just re-clarify what I meant. I didn't mean to say that those two locations cost the game or made the big difference. What I meant to say was relative to how much they normally have an effect, which is 0. They've had a big effect in this particular game.
Yeah, you just make this one reasonable call to put it off for later, and oh look, 2 required progression items.
Exactly. They're not locations that you normally don't have knowledge of. Walter has activated the flute and is very quickly getting this Skull Woods crystal, because even if we didn't already see the front, we don't need to see the front. We just need to kill Moth.
We're gonna get simultaneous boss fights here.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is Sabo is sequence breaking ice because he doesn't have the flippers, which were on the Ether tablet. So Ether and Hera, a lot of items were in that area.
Yeah, sab0tender's play into ice is he's banking on the flippers just being up at Hera, right?
Right, exactly.
And he's right. You know, the flippers are up at Hera. It's just also the fire rod and also the boots.
Yeah, I think the play here is that you assume that the fire rod is locked behind Bombos in Ice Palace, and then you get the fire rod and you can do Turtle Rock on the same mountain climb as the Hera, which makes a lot of sense, and that is absolutely what's going to happen, just not the way that Sabos think it is.
All right, out of location, Sabo looks like he will be headed up the mountain up to Tower of Terror, where he will find everything he needs for go mode except for the flute. He does not have the flute info. He never checked that library. So at the very least, we'll see like a TR full clear, just like Walther did.
A TR full clear is reasonable. The downside is though that Sabo will, he can check the Meyer shed area. He still has, Smith's chain, which hopefully he'll do. Hopefully when he gets the boots, if he goes back to Light World at all, he'll check the library at that point. Once you have the boots, there's no reason not to check that spot.
Yeah, worst case scenario is like he follows the boots into desert, which he knows his boots locked, rather than going to check the library. Although honestly, it would not be crazy for him to do that, because like at this point, if it's the library, you are almost assured that you're behind, right? Because your opponent definitely didn't skip that. So it makes sense to place your bets on the thing that's more likely to get you the win, even if the risk is higher.
Well, when you come out of here and you have the the fire rod, your next step might be Skull Woods, and then you might just check the library on the way to Skull Woods. So that could be a good way to route that in. You were saying that we might see Harapot over here on Sabo's side. This would be the time for him to set it up after picking up this fire rod.
Oh yeah, this is it. So this is a relatively new glitch where we're going to use this bomb here to push ourselves very, very small amount into this pot, which gives us just enough leeway to hook shot to the other side of it and fall inside.
Is it okay if I call this Harapot? I don't have to call this by a fancy name?
That's the official name is Harapot.
Alright.
I think his bomb trajectory might be messed up, though.
I'll call this first floor left side Harapot, just to be safe.
Yeah, it looks like his bomb trajectory might be messed up. He might have picked up the drop while it was in the air. Yeah, he's given up. It's okay.
That's fair. Three attempts on a trick, you just go do the basement.
Yeah, so there's this weird interaction with picking up drops. If you pick up a drop from an enemy, like you kill a mini mold or mini drops an arrow or something, if you pick it up while it's mid-air, it changes the trajectory of your bombs until you reset the super tile. So I think what happened there is he did kill the mini moldorm and he picked up the drop before it actually landed. So his bomb wasn't sending him to the correct place.
That's really interesting. Sabo, finally, hour and 15 minutes in, I want to take a death warp. Unfortunately, he still got the fairy, so he's going to have to take all this extra damage.
Walther giving us a little spooky action while sab0tender takes that death warp.
Nice. Walther has 2 fairies still. No fairies. Just the fairies. Yeah, it was pretty dangerous there. Yeah, the Temper Sword energy strats don't work when you only have like 4 hearts. Nice. Crystal for Walther. There's a second item for Sabo. We've got the boots, the fire rod, and the flippers out of this northern Death Mountain area. God, this is such an item dense spot. All the progression was hiding up here, all hammer locked. Nice Moldorm kill.
Walther picking up his, what is that, 5? No, 4 crystals.
Fourth crystal.
He still has 3 more to go. Wow.
Oh, and Sabo also picking up his 4th.
It's funny how many crystals Walther still had to get when he found his Go Mode item, and how few of those are actually Go Mode dungeons.
That's so true.
But Pod Eastern, Skullwoods were all double dips, and he had to full clear Hera and TR. He gets to Go Mode Mire and Ice though, so that's not bad.
Not only just double dips, they had been basically full cleared. So he spent as much time as he possibly could Eastern and Pod. Even sequence breaking on the right-hand side.
As expected, sab0tender will be full clearing Turtle Rock before going to check any more locations. This just makes
absolutely
sense.
Absolutely makes sense.
No other play would make sense right here.
Well, and if Walther had checked Hookshot Cave before doing Turtle Rock and found the bow, then it would have been a go mode TR, and we would have skipped a little bit. But you don't really save that much time in this particular dungeon. It's just not the dungeon that lends itself to being go moded. Walther definitely will be saving time in Ice Palace, because that is a dungeon that lends itself to be goaded.
It was a nice hellway. Very good Bari RNG. And first stripe bomb jump, nice. Yeah, it's real unfortunate to see what happened to sab0tender.
Well, I'm thinking if Sabo comes out of here and wants to go to Skull Woods and then just checks the library en route, that'll basically put him in a good spot.
Yeah, he can definitely make it closer, but Walther has a very definitive lead at this point. I don't know, it's really hard to tell exactly how close it's going to be, especially not knowing if sab0tender will go to the library.
Yeah, it's definitely unknown. You have Goma possible, as it's always unpredictable. Sabo could just as easily check, King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks and other overworld locations that we know are completely unnecessary, while Walther picks up crystal number 5 on a pretty decent cold stare fight. But clearing Eastern and Pod without the mirror is still pretty time consuming, relatively speaking.
Well, you were mentioning before how he could route in the library on his way to Skullwoods, but I think he's going to do the other bridge checks first. Like route King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks on his way to Skullwoods. And then when you do Skullwoods, now you're in the Dark World, but you can't leave because no mirror. So now the library is even more orphan than it was.
I was thinking library before you enter the Dark World, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, but you come from either the north or you come from the south. Library is 1 item and Bonk Rocks King's Tomb is 2. I don't know, he might do it.
Well, in my mind, it's King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, library, then Skullwoods.
I definitely don't see him doing that.
You don't see him do that? All right.
No, because like not wanting to go through Kakariko twice was what orphaned the check in the first place, right?
I'm holding out hope, Koi. Give me that little bit of hope. I'm not really an optimist at heart, but I want it to be a close race. Thank God we haven't found the mirror, because then we could see a swamp palace play. So we at least have a saving grace that the overworld mire checks are locked behind the go mode item. A bunch of mirror checks are locked behind the mirror.
If we had the mirror, though, then he could check library while doing Smith sequence or something. I don't know, man.
I don't know. The thing is, I'm not used to the library being a factor.
sab0tender with some very nice dash skips, finding nothing on Laser Bridge.
Nope. But that was a pretty. That was definitely a pretty good TR. Time wise, didn't lose any time compared to Walther's TR. Unfortunately, it's not really a matter of keeping things even. You need to make up time at this point, and that you're dependent on your opponent making a mistake because there's really only so much you can do yourself. Uncle Stan there doesn't make mistakes.
All right, down goes Armos Knights for Walther. His 5th crystal. No, wait. 6th crystal.
You gotta get like a little coin counter that just gives you the integer number.
Counting is hard, okay? sab0tender very angry with Trinex right now.
Blow up faster!
Unfortunately, not dropping the flute that he wanted.
Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Tracker changes the audio.
sab0tender gonna go finish up Spike Cave. Make sure it's not on this mountain before he leaves.
Another fairy.
Oh, come back.
The prize pool has been very fairy heavy. Please don't be the mirror. Please don't be the mirror. That's pretty close on the blue cane because that has an activation time.
Nah, it's just the cape. You can activate the blue cane right away.
Okay. Woo.
And sab0tender starts at Sanctuary. This is boots checks into Skullwoods, I imagine. Maybe he goes down to the library.
Maybe. I'm sitting here with fingers crossed.
I cannot imagine him doing that though.
Okay, King's Tomb, don't be the mirror. Don't be the mirror. Yeah, mirror's probably the item that I think more than anything else you want to find it super early or not at all.
I don't think him finding the mirror in like Bonkrugs would be that bad because it draws him down to Smith's sequence following Skullwoods, and then he checked the library then.
Yeah, maybe.
Assuming that he doesn't just plumb forgot about it.
Or he doesn't just dive into Swamp Palace and do K45 and the Bombos tablet. So, Lumberjacks, this is a boots locked location. Think about other boots locked locations and go there.
sab0tender getting those 10 arrows that we saw so long ago. Aw.
Yeah.
All right, Walther.
That's Crystal 7. God, you eat it.
Wait, is the bot not online anymore?
It started.
I put the command, but it didn't start the.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, you have to talk if you put your guess in before the bot talked. You have to type it again, you guys.
It just got lagged out by all the numbers.
We have 7 crystals. We are headed to Ganon's Tower. In Ganon's Tower, there are 22 item locations, one of which will contain the big key that Walther needs to finish this game. Chat, this is your time to shine. If you would like to, guess 1 through 22 on the chest that Walther will find the big key, and we will follow him and count them as we go. And whoever wins will be rewarded with imaginary internet points that are forever immortalized using the $leaderboard command.
So I normally like to pick the location that gives the opponent the best chance of catching up, but there really is no location in this particular seed that would have that effect. So I'm just going to randomly pick 17 for no reason at all.
I mean, that's as good as any other reason. Yeah, so the way like the keys are placed in rando with like the fill algorithm, the keys happen first, right? So the big key is placed evenly among those 22 locations, and there's nothing you can use to determine like the likelihood of it being in any one location over another. So it really is just completely random.
Yep. I just a completely random number. Well, like if one player had the cane, the other didn't, it'd be like right side, and or fire rod, and it didn't, it'd be right side. Things like that. If they didn't have the boots, you'd say the torch. But in this particular seed, Walther can full clear all 22 of those locations, including Tower Room, and it's just not going to make a difference. So 17. Ooh, half magic's a nice find.
All right, if you guess one or two, Walther, I'm sure appreciates your optimism, but you were wrong. Okay, try again next time.
Yes, you lost.
You 3 guessers. It was not on the torch.
A lot of torch fans out there. They just got red rubied.
Oh, number 4. Number 4 was the answer. Congratulations, Foil 1212. You are the best. Go and tell your friends. Congratulations.
All his friends are here right now. They already know he's the best. Walther, I love this. You don't see, you almost never, you get the key, you don't have the mirror. He doesn't want to take a death warp. Walking back out of Ganon's tower. That is awesome. Good job, Walther.
A snap, sab0tender's on the leaderboard. It's a moral victory.
He's down to only 6 arrows because he didn't pick up.
Headed south. This is hammer pegs. Maybe this is the mirror.
Walther down to 2 arrows, having not picked up those 10 arrows on the lumberjack.
I'm getting a little concerned for his heart count here. I don't know what he has for health refill. Oh, nice sword.
Butter sword.
Okay, he's gonna do the safety room. He probably just doesn't have a potion.
Yeah, shame we don't have a bug net. We could catch some of these fairies.
For those coming in now, where were you 2 hours ago? But sab0tender is looking for just the flute. All he needs is the flute for go mode. The flute is on the library, and unfortunately, sab0tender's routing ended up never checking the library. He doesn't know it's there. This is his opportunity to check it, though. Here we go.
Oh.
As long as he hasn't just forgot about it, he'll find the flute here.
That's good. And this is going to be one of those great moments where you're in go mode and you still have to get rid of the dwarf.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't take him to Mystery Mire.
Nope.
Hey, he
library.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. I mean, it's
not over. Go back in. Go back in. Go back in.
He was so sure it wasn't the library. Aw. All right, go mode for sab0tender. Unfortunately, his quite a bit behind here. But
So, I mean,
find go mode before your opponent finishes. Like that it doesn't feel good, but it doesn't feel as bad as if Walther finished and you had no idea where to go next.
yeah, that area just, I mean, it came back to bite him twice. You know, he skipped the race game and the library. The lamp was on the race game. sab0tender did go back and found the lamp there, but then didn't check the library, so didn't have that game knowledge. And we just saw a whole bunch of checks that, you know, Walther never made. But Sabo is in go mode now, and Walther is through the gauntlet, climbing the tower, only a few rooms away from Aga 2. Poor Smith. Thought he made a new friend, was going to come back and visit. Sabo just bails on him.
Walter's the true friend to Smiths in this scene.
Yeah.
Walther had the Smith following him for like 20 minutes, I swear. Nice full heal there from Walther's powder. Moving on to Moldorm 2.
I think the theme of this game can be fairies. I mean, they've been in the prize pools, they've been in the bottles. We've been powdering a lot of fairies.
Moldorm, please. There you go.
So I don't believe Walther has any safety potions or anything, but half magic and full health, tempered sword. No silvers, but like I said, half magic's more than enough for a cannon fight.
Honestly, it's just the tempered sword by itself is enough for runners of this quality. Like, I don't think Walther would be scared again, even if he had 3 hearts.
Yeah, I think the biggest risk is magic more so than health, especially if you only have the fire rod, not the lamp.
Oh, there's a ton of leeway with tempered though, because it's only 12 hits, and you're guaranteed, assuming you don't just mess up, you're guaranteed 2 hits per cycle, so that's 6 fire rod shots. And then Walther's going to be doing triples here, so he needs even fewer fire rod shots. He has a lot of leeway for making mistakes, for wasting a shot here or there.
No, I'm thinking more like just as far as, well, I mean, they call them safeties for a reason. It's if you make a mistake. So like missing the torch glitch with the fire rod and not having half magic and any potions, like that's a tough situation. But yeah, I'm not worried about Walther.
No, he's fine.
He's fine. Gotta get rid of those sword beams. So much lag.
Walther actually switching to the lamp here, specifically what you're talking about. The lamp makes it a lot easier to get the torch glitch here. Sabo finding silvers in Myers. That's nice.
Yeah, not making a difference though when your opponent is on phase 4 of your, or phase 3 of your gun fight. Phase 4.
So Walther sets up triple spins here by lighting the torch just as Ganon reaches his teleport location. It gives you just enough time in the cycle to get an extra spin in.
It's still pretty close, and we just got to double this particular cycle. That one didn't get the sword spin charged up in time. This is another double. There we go. There's a triple. And kaboom. Boom goes the Ganon.
He's dead. We killed him. And with that, Walther takes first place in this first match of a best of 3. There's more rando to go for these guys, but Walther takes first place with a time of 1:37:49. And it looks like sab0tender did forfeit as soon as he saw Walther finish. I mean, I don't blame him. He had a lot of game left to go do.
That's reasonable. He played a good game. Then, of course, he can join us quicker for the interview. So GG's for both the players.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is it's a best of 3. So Savo's going to have at least 2 more opportunities here to take out Walther. If Walther wins the series, though, can we say he's better than Andy?
I think you have to. I mean, that's just that's equivalency.
I mean, yeah, logically it just makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sabo greater than Andy, Walther greater than Sabo, Walther greater than Andy.
And we are now joined by both of our featured runners here, sab0tender and Walther the Fourth. How you guys doing? GG's.
Yo, GG's, Walther.
Yo, GG's, dude.
Yeah,
So,
that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah. As much as I'd like to go on and on about how well Walther played and how Walther's decision making was just so on point or anything, the real story of this is sab0tender getting completely randoed in this seed.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you played bad or anything, Walther. Like, you played great. It was fantastic. It's just, this was very much sab0tender just rip.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted rando.
It was literally 3 minutes in, I destroyed the run. I can't wait to watch this one back to see what Walther did. Because I mean, that's a good time because this was a really garbage seed. So props to him. He made all the right plays. It's so awesome. But yeah, wow. I didn't think that skipping those 2 locations would be so detrimental to this run.
Yeah. So the big difference maker. Like the flute thing did matter. Like, you lost a bunch of time from that for sure. But the real difference maker with the seed was when you guys went to Death Mountain, like when you did Hera, like that was the real thing right here. Because Walther went to East Death Mountain first after finding the hook shot. So when he found the mitts, when he found the mitts and the hammer, he had both Dark Death Mountain and Hera up there, so it made a lot more sense for him to go up there, where you had done Dark Death Mountain and East Death Mountain before the hammer. So Hera's like all by itself, all up there. You have to go all the way around the long way. It didn't make like a ton of sense to go up there right then, which ended up being the real deciding point right there.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that flippers were going to be up on the mountain, up in like Hera, and it ended up being on the tablet there. So that's why I made the play for ice. I thought that perhaps the fire rod might be there, and then I could, combo it with Turtle Rock, give me something more incentive to head up the mountain there to do Hera and TR at the same time. But yeah, it didn't quite work out that way. Ice Palace was pretty empty, which was unfortunate. But I mean, it was a risk I took because I already felt behind.
Yeah, it's real punishing, right? Because like you make this play off the idea that the flippers are for Hera, and they are, but there was just
absolutely
more stuff with them.
That was properly deduced. You're totally right.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk to the winner. Okay, let's talk to Walther. See what he has
Walther,
to say about
talk to us. Tell us your story.
I don't know. I mean, this I kind of felt behind for a while, at least until I got the hammer. Because I was like best case scenario, my opponent probably did the same place that I did, and last location Dark World. Apparently, it ended up being even worse than that, which I'm sorry to hear. But I don't know. I felt kind of behind for quite a while. But then when I got the hammer, I was like, well, okay, this is good. I got into Feast on my first trip in, so felt pretty good for the rest of the run after that, especially then when the mountain just being loaded.
Yeah, there was some like a little bit of lead changing here and there, especially early on. Like you had a much more thorough light world clear. Both of you basically last location light world. sab0tender only skipping Old Man and Spectacle Rock Cave. But like heading into the dark world, like you were probably like a little behind, but right up until that moment where you go to Hera and sab0tender goes to Ice, that's when everything just turned on its head.
Yeah, and I was honestly thinking about going to Ice Palace as well, since we didn't need the flippers per se. But I just decided to try and follow logic here, or like the
yeah, and you had
because I had quite a lot up on the mountain to do.
I was a little surprised. I wanted to ask you about this. Why didn't you Hera pot?
Because I don't know how to Hera pot without the boots.
Oh, okay. Because that was like the Hera pot scenario.
Yeah, that would have been amazing to Hera pot there. If I could just get the boots from upstairs, I could have Hera potted instead.
It's always something.
Just drop back down and show us you can do it.
I like that the boots, not the boots, the hammer as always is locked behind Pendant Thieves Town. Both of you guys made the play though, and Walther was just a little bit quicker to turn it in and actually get the hammer. My favorite thing that Walther that you did was, we had the knowledge of where the bow was, so you were so close from getting that go mode item when you did the Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing like Hookshot Cave and stuff like that before Turtle Rock, especially since I didn't have the mirror, so just in case like mirror was there and bow was in Mimic Cave, would have been like worst case scenario. But I don't know, it just feels like bow is always in Turtle Rock, so I just went in.
Would you
for
have
Turtle
gone
Rock
back
instead.
in?
If I found the mirror?
If that is
no way.
Yeah,
no.
if you found the mirror instead of the bow.
At that point, I would have just committed to that being my last location.
Yep, never going to Mimic Cave ever.
Pretty much. And I didn't feel like I played bad in terms of execution, but I played very like sloppy. I had a lot of like weird moments where I just like, I don't know, I felt kind of off in terms of execution. But
you did ditch your fairies before death warping in
I wanted to have those
Zelda
fairies
Cell.
so I could
I was very proud of you.
Yeah, I wanted to have them though so I could like bottle glitch in pod, but then I remembered there's a shop on the way to Catfish.
It was interesting because sab0tender found those two fairies too, right? And but because of the way he routed, he managed to hold on to those fairies for nearly the entire game. We were being a little silly about it the whole time. And then the guards being in the fairy prize pack, so we saw a fairy like every other screen. Ended up not being too important though.
I was scared of losing them because I'm bad at this game, so I needed that safety.
Both of you guys, like I said, both of you guys went 2-0 in your round of 64. So I mean, somebody had to obviously lose the first game. Yeah. Do you have your game setting change picked out for game 2, Sabo?
I don't really like to mix it up too much. I'm probably just going to keep the vanilla settings for the tournament here for game 2. We haven't got it on the schedule yet, but we'll look at when we can probably get it back on there soon. But no changes, I don't think.
Well, that's a little disappointing. I really want to see another 6-6 race. Those were just
at
really
least make it
fun.
Standard or something.
Yeah, or standard mode.
Actually, I do like a standard opening because then I can go to the South Shore early. Usually, we'll see. Maybe I'll let Walton know if we switch it up to anything.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm probably losing next game anyway, so I can make a change for game 3 then.
You heard it here first. Sabo is committed to standard mode for game 2.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Definitely looking forward to your guys' future matches. I hope it goes to game 3.
I mean, I hope so too, but also, I mean, like, I just hope for a good race. Walter's a great
closer
opponent,
race.
so
Okay,
closer race would be super hype. If I lose by like a minute or something, or like 30 seconds, I'd be totally fine with that. This blowout kind of sucks, but
Yeah,
hopefully game twos.
Definitely hoping for a close race as well, even though it's not very nice for the nerves, but
yeah,
it's a good viewing experience.
Maybe one with earlier boots would be nice too.
Please.
Well then, guys.
Yeah, GG's to both of you.
Absolutely, GG's to both of you guys, and thank you for scheduling a race during the GDQ week. So we actually had some rando to watch today. Unfortunately, this was the only race for the day. We all have to wait until 3:20 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the next race, Yagamoth versus Matt 7898.
That'll be a good match.
Thanks for commentating and tracking, putting everything together, and thanks also to sab0tender not only for running this, but also being an admin team putting this entire tournament together.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate you guys doing commentary, especially during GDQ week. A lot of people are kind of busy paying attention to that, so I appreciate you guys taking the time out and doing that for us. And yeah, GG's again, Walther. I look forward to Game 2. It should be very hype.
Well, on that note, then, as usual, follow the runners. Links are in Twitch chat, twitch.tv, sab0tender. It's SAB0TENDER, and Walther4 is WALTHER for anybody who's just watching this later on YouTube or listening to it. And thanks to our tracker. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this.
Iceny.
Iceny, thank you, Iceny, for doing an excellent job tracking and keeping us honest. And it's been great to join you for our first Come Together Koi. You definitely know your stuff. You corrected me 3 seconds into the tournament.
Dude, I am really good at correcting people. It's amazing.
Which turned out to be a theme that I needed today. So I'm so glad you were here to help me out. It's been a pleasure. And that's it for me, Tiro. And the last words can go to you, sir.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.